Joining us live now to discuss this and the latest on peace talks and what we can expect in the days ahead is Arizona Republican Senate candidate General Mick McGuire. Good to see you as always, General.
Good morning, Miranda, and thanks for having me.
Want to get your reaction to, again, this report. There is no American ambassador to Ukraine, but that's not the only one. I realize that it's probably saving a lot of taxpayers' money, but it would seem at a time, especially like now, we would want one.
Oh, absolutely. It is critical that we have ambassadors. You know, you mentioned at the top there, I'm running for the U.S. Senate here in the great state of Arizona. Senate has this duty to confirm all presidential appointees, ambassadors. And you saw just this last week with that Supreme Court hearing, so much of what's happened with the radical left has moved Americans away from the idea of finding people that can advance American interests around the world. And it's one of the many reasons for the slowdown. But you're right, they need to move that ambassadorship to Ukraine up to the top of the list, because all of us that have served previously are praying for peace, hope to de-escalate this situation. We've seen the devastation in some of these cities. It's going to take decades for the Ukrainians to build that.
Well, talk about de-escalating. We talked about this the other day, but I want to go back to what the president said over the weekend. Take a listen.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
Now, the president later clarifying yesterday in front of cameras that he makes no apologies for saying those words, saying he's not walking them back, that he was merely expressing moral outrage, if you will, when he was talking to the Russian people. But a little analysis that took place, a lot of people took what the president said as him basically handing Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, a gift, if you will, because this may show that maybe the U.S. has more sinister plans than simply rebuffing the invasion of Ukraine. And even though you have Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the president himself saying that no, there's no plans of a policy or regime change, now the White House is still continuing to do damage control, shifting our attention to, let's say, this money-saving plan that he went and talked about yesterday mid-afternoon. A lot of people took that as people who weren't supportive of Putin may be more supportive now because of those words that he uttered in Poland. And they're a little weary of the West already, some countries are, that this may now push them more towards Putin's side. You know, last time we had you on, you said that we still want to give Putin a way out, if you will. We don't want to corner him too much. Yesterday, we had Paul Chabot on here talking about the president's comments, and here's what he had to say, and I want to get your reaction.
This is to remember that Biden was vice president when they drew a red line in Syria, which Obama and others let walk over. So is Biden, by saying that, did he create this red line? And in many respects, you might say yes. And not only were American military concerned about it, but so were our allies around the world.
Now, again, we're hearing promising word when it comes to these peace negotiations that are taking place in Turkey, but these are delegates and things can change. What is your opinion about that? Because you heard from Paul there saying that he was concerned, he's also a veteran, that this, by the president merely saying this, that he was in fact drawing a red line in the sand. And we all know what happened when President Obama did that when it came to Syria. He drew that red line and then did nothing about it. How concerned are you about the president's comments? And is it too little too late, even though he did try to clarify, if not apologizing for them, though?
Well, let's first start with the message of hope. I hope that the talks in Turkey go in the right direction. That said, every American is disappointed by what's happened under President Biden in the leadership area. This creates ambiguity. That's exactly what Putin exploits in an information war. He has used as leverage with his people the reason for invading a sovereign nation like Ukraine and bringing that destruction, this idea, this paranoia that we are out to get him. That is not true. But when you say that as the president of the United States, and then you have people changing the story, walking things back, talking about troops in Poland, talking about chemical strikes. This goes all the way back to 3 weeks ago, Miranda, when I said that when you made the commitment to allow the MiG-29s to move from Poland into Ukraine, you got to stand by it. You can't change every 24 hours. It just creates confusion for all the other world leaders. And we don't need confusion right now. We need trusted, confident leaders. That's why I'm running for the Senate. We need people to step on the up on the other side and demand leadership here at every level in our government.
Real quickly, we are tight on time, but I do want to ask you, based on what you're hearing right now, do you think that peace is near?
Well, I think that Putin has taken heavy conventional casualties. He's suffering significant economic turbulence at home, and those are real problems for him. I keep saying we need to give him a way out. Now, I've been reading reports that Zelensky is not interested in ceding any land, and so I hope they can find a ceasefire. We can get some humanitarian aid in there, but if they can't find a collective answer, I'm not sure how it ends right now.
All right, General, thank you so much for your time. Always appreciate it. We'll be right back.